show a quick review of my Veto Tech XL tool bag, as I've just ordered another tool bag from a rival, and I hope it'll be probably here the start of next week. So I'll be emptying this out and transferring it over to my new tool bag. I'll not mention the brand or the make in this video. You'll see it will all be apparent once I get the bag. I'll put a video on of that. But I just thought I'd upload this before I empty it and either sell it or put it in the garage somewhere for a time when I feel I need to come back out with it. I've had this about 2-3 years. It's a hell of a bag, brilliant bag. I've said on my previous video when I reviewed the MT, the Tech MT, I begrudged paying the money for these bags, but I bit the bullet and I bought. This is my main installation bag, and the little Tech MT is like a little service call out bag kind of thing. And I wish I found them sooner. Went through loads of previous bags, and this one and the MT they certainly paid the money back. Brilliant. Bit dusty. If you were anal, you could probably want a bit of a dust off or a blow off a little air compressor. But it's a work bag at the end of the day, and I'm not going to mess about and tidy it and clean it and dust every week. But it's still immaculate. All the zips. Veto pride themselves on the make of the standard of the zips, and this is proving its point. Still works as well as it does the first day I got it. So yet another tool bag review. If you don't want to see it, or you're not interested in Veto, or how an electrician loads out his bag, go and watch another video. But I'll be as quick as I can, because I know you've probably seen a million of these now. So front of the bag, zip pocket in there. Just got little odds and sods, sleeving, a couple of connectors, some Wagos, some plug top fuses, just some little odds and sods just to save a trip to the van and everyday stuff that we need. Another zip pocket. This is just a shallow one. It's only about 40mm, 50mm deep. Again, just odds and sods. Grommets, some socket screws, red plugs, just everyday odds and sods that you might need. Obviously blue sleeving. You do get a, where's it at? You do get a tape loop, but I think I lost my other one from the MT and I put it on that bag. But these, it's just a Velcro strap. You get, I think, a pack of 6 from Amazon for not a great deal of money, and a little carabiner that I've stuck on myself. That was my old chain off a CK bag, my old tool, my old tape holder, and again I just got a cheap and cheerful carabiner and fixed it to the D-ring on the side. So we have hammer, Fluke, I call it a pen tester. It's a non-contact voltage alert or whatever. It's a pen tester for me, voltage stick, whatever. A lot of people don't like them. They aren't bulletproof, and they're not supposed to be an approved indication of if the circuit's dead or not. But just as a quick protocol, if I stick it on the cable, if I'm going to isolate, obviously you can hear it buzzing. There's an audible noise, and then it goes off when you found the circuit. But then obviously I always check again with me voltage probes. A couple of little pockets on the side for Sharpies. That was where my voltage pen went. So these D-rings, they've got loads of them. You can hang all sorts off them. D-rings galore. They are quite handy. The other side, I bought these little key rings. I don't know if you can see them very well. Another Amazon purchase, I think £10 for 5. Just slots your 1/4 inch hex bit. You just slide in. So you've got like a magnetic bit holder, 25mm hole saw, 20mm hole saw. They're just handy. And this usually, just a little jaws, plastic jaws. I usually keep, I have a pair of gloves on in the winter if I'm doing any outside work or like that. Or recently I've just had a little bit of green and yellow earth sleeve and some 2mm coiled up around there, just a quick port of call. I don't keep a lot in this. Some of the pockets I don't find extremely useful to. I haven't got bits to go in. There's nothing really in there. Bit of old school fuse for your 3036 rewirable fuses. Don't tend to use that much now. There's nothing else in there. It comes with a built-in little loophole. I suppose you can put your keys or something like that in if you wanted to and keep them safe in that pocket. I don't tend to use that pocket. It's like this one goes all the way down to there, the pocket. You can get your hand in. Tipex, any commercial sparks that come across the ceiling grid. If you've damaged the ceiling grid, the tiles, the 600x600 tiles, and you've taken the outer coating on, a little hack there, I use that just to touch up. And then if it's the ones that you have with the little black dots on, just touch it up with that, and then just mark it with a little bit of a pencil. Works a treat. And also I use that sometimes for marking my cables up, especially on the old colours, the blacks. Black Sharpie, you're not going to see it on a black neutral conductor, so I just, if I'm just marking it up with little dots, I use that for the cable identification. Some junior hacksaw blades, a couple of more terminal blocks. So it's a waste of a good pocket, that, to be honest, but I tend to, if I put them in there, I forget they're in there, in them pockets, so I don't really use all them pockets, but I'm sure another tradesman or another sparky would find a better use for it. You can put a notepad in, I suppose, notepad or a pair of gloves, some stickers. There's my tape loop. I thought it was on my MT, but I tell a lie. Cheap and cheaper torch. It's not the greatest, but gets out of a hole. Take it back. I have emptied quite a bit of this out. It was up to nearly 25 kilos, this bag. I had all sorts in it, stupid amounts of stuff in it. You tend to, that is probably the only downside of this bag. With it being so big, you can just chuck all sorts in. Just hammer it with your gears. Probably is too much gear. I had £3 mash hammer, chisels, drills, boxes of bits and stuff like that, and it's half the time you don't need it, but you get lazy and you just think it's handy to have on instead of a trip to the van, but then it just weighs a ton. It has got a shoulder strap that is a good, if you had that loose, it does tend to get trapped underneath and it makes the bag a bit unstable, and you catch your feet under it. So Veto have they've got on the handle, the top handle, they've got a slot there where your shoulder strap clips on and keeps it out of the way. I think that's a good idea. Really strong handle, really strong. It's hard plastic grip, but it doesn't hurt your hands when you're lifting it. And I say this was round about 25 kilos at one point. I think it's down to about 18 now. But that's a big help. But the heavier you do it, you end up carrying it, and you're like cock-eyed when you're walking on the site, and it's going to end up damaging your back. There's loads of videos about these on YouTube, and they're going about the stitching and the double rivets and the zips. I'm not going to go into that. You might as well just go watch another video. I'm not going to go over what other people have said on their videos. It's just going over old ground. So this is what I class as the front of the bag. I say I've thinned this out, but this is me day-to-day setup. These press studs, you can fold them down, and it would. I don't know if you can see that very well, but it puts the flap out the way. I just unzip it and just let it fold, just let it hold like that, and then you get to it. And then if you're looking outside, it's quicker, then you can just zip it back up, keep the water off your tools. There's nothing really out of the ordinary. I'll start swan neck torch. cheap and nasty, but it's really good. Charges rechargeable off a USB port. I think you get about 4 hours light off that. Magnetic base, really good for about a tenner. Most people have seen the Nipex ergo strippers or whatever you want to call them. I bought this as a bit of a trial. It's Jacari. I bought this as a bit of a trial. Some people rant and rave about the Nipex ones, but I was a little bit reluctant to pay 40 quid for something that I may not use. So I bought this. I think it was maybe 15 quid. And again, I don't use it a lot. I normally strip flexes and cable with my side cutters or a standing knife. But just sometimes get you out of a hole if you've got, say, a flex coming through, I don't know, say like a conduit box or something like that, or it's tucked away in the back of a back box. It's hard, and you want to strip the cable right back to the entry where it comes into the box. This just gets you into the back box and strips it. They're all right. I wouldn't swear by them, but they're not bad. Jacari stripping tool. Pencil, telescopic, magnetic. Just gets you in case you lose something or anything. I've seen stuff slip down the screwdrivers, slip down the back of a radiator. Just gets you out of a mess. M3.5 rethreading tool for your back box lugs. Set of Allen keys. These are just cheap and cheerful. They're not my normal set. They're just as a backup. I can't remember where I got them from, but they're next to nothing. So it's just a backup set. These are the Allen keys that I tend to use. The T-handle ones, I just mark them up with a bit of Sharpie just for quick identification when it's in the bag. Now these and my screwdrivers are made by a company called Boddingtons. Boddingtons Electrical. As far as I know, they're an English company. I got these from a shop called Loadout. I found them on Instagram, but if you Google them, there is a shop called the Loadout. It's just an up and coming shop. I think it was started by a young lad from, I think he just had a little garage or something like that and set up selling a few tools, and he's just grew. Reasonably priced. The service is brilliant off them, really, really good. So these are 1000 volt rated, T-handled Allen keys by Boddingtons. Really good, like them. Same as the screwdrivers. I've tried pretty much every brand of screwdriver over the years. From probably 15 or so, 20 years ago, they were my favourite brand. They're the original Irizolas. I found that the quality was diminished as time went on. Irizola were brilliant, really, really good. I think they used to have a lifetime guarantee, so if you snapped an end or it shaded off, you could just take it back to the wholesalers and get one. I have just got that as a I think it's just a 3.5, just an oddball in the bag. Used to be Irizola. I've gone through Weha, CK, Nipex, but back to Boddingtons. These are the ones. I think there's a 5 set for 30, maybe it's £35 for them. Handles are nice. I might do a review of these in another video over this. These are the best drivers I've found in the last probably 5-10 years. Really, really, really nice to work on. Comfort grip. They seem really, really sturdy. They've had some hammer them, and there's nothing's happened to the ends. They seem bulletproof. So I would strongly recommend them. Boddingtons. I think you can get them elsewhere online, but Loadout Shop it's called. Loadout Shop. If I've got the knowledge and the time, I'll put a little link or a little added note on the end of the video. Boddingtons tools. Couple of old drivers. These are just my pokey sticks if I'm doing downlights or something like that in a domestic house. You know, I push that into the ceiling just to make sure I'm clear of a timber or there's nothing in the way. They're just old screwdrivers that they're actually damaged. The ends have been shattered off. So I just sheared that off, sheared the insulation back a little bit. So it's enough to get through the plasterboard just to see that I'm clear for cutting out before I let the hole saw. Another little Boddingtons tool, just a little 3mm. Now these are good for your when the DNO, when it's a DNO in England, when the supplier puts the meters in, they should anyway nowadays provide you with a double pole isolator. And if it's a TNCS or a PME supplied earth, the little box where they have the tap off for your earth on a TNCS, that's a 3mm hex Allen key. Again, it's insulated. Little 3mm Allen key. Again, buy that Boddingtons from the Loadout shop. That's just a handy little tool for tightening your earth connections. Standard pair of scissors. Never use that for what it should be. It's an approved, they say it's a voltage tester. I was always told that these are naughty because you're actually creating a circuit. You put that in a live conductor, put your finger, you're creating like the earth path, which will give you a little neon indicator inside. It'll come up and see if it's live or not. That is just purely backup, just a little 3mm. I just use that just for, I sometimes use it for scratching out round sockets and switches if the decorator's been in. I'm trying to say if I haven't got a standing knife or whatever, but it's just an oddball screwdriver that I have in the bag. I certainly don't use it for testing live circuits. If you do, you're an idiot. Weha bent nose pliers, really good. You know, you get into a fuse board, and if someone hasn't really taken much pride in doing the fuse board, and they've left the cables a bit of a mess, and it looks like a rat's nest in there, or spaghetti junction, you know, you can get this into some awkward spots. Get behind the neutral bar or your earth bar to locate your cables when you're testing, or even if you're trying to pull a new circuit in. These get me out the crap a bit then. My tail cutters, again, Weha. These are sharp, really sharp. They go through 35mm, no bother. I like the Weha cutters. Nice handles. Barco side cutters, 160mm, I think they are. I've only got little hands, so I like the 160mm, sorry. Barco side cutters. Nipex long nose pliers. Nipex pliers. These are the 180s, not the 200mm, sorry. Just a standard set of pliers by Nipex. Nipex Cobra water pump pliers, or Eager Beavers. I don't know wherever I got Eager Beavers from. I used to work with a lad who used to call them Eager Beavers. I think some people call them channel locks. Adjustable wrenches, water pump pliers, really, if you ask me. They're the 250mm Nipex. Mini Cobras, again by Nipex. These are good, getting a little. See, I've only got small hands. They're just nice and nimble, just to get you into a little tight space if you want to tighten up a nut or whatever, or hold a nut when you're making something off. Nipex Cobras, 180mm. Couple of Stanley knives, nothing special about them. Adjustable pliers. Adjustable spanners. I've seen them. They're the little keyring holders. These are my hex nut screwdrivers. My T5 1000 Fluke voltage tester. Also has a little ammeter in there to read your current. I had a call out a couple of weeks ago where the shower was tripping a 32 amp breaker. So all you need to do is, say if that was the cable at the board going into your breaker, put the jaws over the cable while current's flowing, or when there's load going through the cable, it tells you the current that's flowing through it, which this one dictated that it was a faulty MCB. So these are not cheap. I think it was about 100 quid. Continuity tester. It's got an audible continuity tester. Detects your amps, your current flowing and voltage. Pretty good. That, made by Fluke. A little Stabila magnetic spool level. I've got another spare one, a Draper one. Multi-tool blade. Again, you could put your tape loop on that or your keys if you want to keep them inside your bag. There's loads and loads of room down there as well. I just got bits of cable, just if I'm making off armoured and you just want to put an earth link or whatever onto the banjo. A couple of little step cutters. These are just cheap and cheap. I think these are about a tenner from Lidl. Goes up to 12mm, that's a 20mm one. Just some cone cutters or step cutters. Just, I wouldn't use them on metal, they're quite soft for cutting out metal. So it's really just for plastic and stuff like that. Any plastic boxes. Just a little nut driver. Again, some more fuse wire, which I'm getting less and less use of now that we all use MCBs. That's the front, the back. So the same principle as the front, just folds down, gets you access to it. Draper, torque, screwdriver set. I like this Draper one because a lot of the torque screwdrivers, and now manufacturers RCBOs and MCBs and fuse boards and stuff like that, all recommend a certain torque to tighten up your terminals, because you can also, it's just as damaging over tightening to under tightening. We've all been to jobs as electricians where you've under tightened something or something's under tightened and it's started to arc and it's started to melt wherever it's been terminated in, but over tightening can damage just as badly. The beauty is with this, to alter the torque setting, you don't need a tool or anything like that to adjust it. You just lift that neck up and spin it round, and there's a little dial on there that has the newtons, the torque settings. So that's a Draper, and that's pretty much the cheapest torque set you can get. I'm not a cheapskate. I do like my tools, and I will spend heavily on tools, but I think for what it's worth, I think 70 quid, where you could pay, you know, the other makes, the more fashionable makes, are well into the hundreds, 140 quid I think for one that begins with a W. I won't mention it, but I can't see nothing wrong with that. Again, something I've had for years, never really use it. Little cable stripper. Doesn't strip the outer sheath. It's just, I know this sounds like a bit of a fanny, but in the winter I suffer badly with split ends and keens in my fingers. And you're working outside in the cold and wet. So sometimes if I'm making off a load of cables, I just use that for stripping the inner cores. That's all that is, just cable stripper. Crimpers, goes up to 16mm. Seen better days. I've had them absolutely donkeys. Best part of 20 years for them. Another crimper, these go up to 6mm. Just for your little like bonding clamps and stuff like that, or your frills, your little pin crimps. Everybody's got one, or you should have one. An old Beta flat screwdriver. Does everything this. It's a chisel, floorboard lifter, paint scraper, knock it through a ceiling if you're trying in a loft trying to find stuff. 10mm flat, cheap and cheerful screwdriver beater. Brush, just for cleaning out your back boxes and your fuse boards or anything like that. If you've been drilling out any metal, just gets rid of all the little offcuts, the little filings and stuff like that of the metal. Just a standard brush. Another set of these are made by Stanley Fatbacks, just water pump pliers again. I can't remember, I think these were think these were given to me. God. They're quite, when you've had Nipex and you use these, well, these aren't Nipex, they're just a very, very cheap set. You realise why the Nipex are 20, 30 quid. These slip all the time. There's not much grip on the handles. They're not nice at all, but they're there just as a backup. Or if somebody wants a spare set, if I'm on site with somebody. Cheap with Allen keys, not flash. Jab saw, pad saw for plasterboard, cutting out boxes and stuff. Chisel, lifting floors or notching out anything like that. Just an ox 25mm chisel. Stanley knife, a Stanley split level. Junior hacksaw. I think this is called a Cronin tool, just a punch down tool for your data. Well, before data was really heavily used, it was for telephone connections. File. I keep so I've got best of both there. I've got the rounded file, you know, when you just want to file off your sharp edges on a hole, an empty hole, and it's also a flat file for any straight stuff, cutting galv, trunking, basket, tray. Little 12 volt Milwaukee drill driver. Socket tester, an audible socket tester. Down the front, there is quite a lot of space down there. I don't know if you can see that down there, but there is a fair bit. You can put a hammer in there as well. But I usually keep my little pinch bar, crowbar, floorboard lifter, whatever you want to call them. If anyone does a lot of metal work, well, everybody should do a bit of metal work, because if you're cutting out boxes and stuff, using hole saws. This is a deburring tool. So if that was your hole, you put that and you cut that round the edge like that. Just spin it round a few times, and it acts like a file. It just puts a little chamfered edge on the entry hole. So it just takes away that sharp chaffing. Obviously, you'd put a grommet in, or you'd put a stuffing gland or a gland or something like that. But this just takes any. Sometimes when you cut a hole out, it leaves like a bird side where it's burnt the metal out. It's a sharp blade in there, and you just ream that round a hole. If anybody knows what this is, I probably will sound condescending and such a basic, but there's bound to be some people that's never seen this before. So the people that have used them and they know the crack, I apologise. It's just purely for people that haven't seen them, and there's bound to be some people that haven't seen them. It's made by Barco, not a lot of money, 5 quid, but handy bit of kit that. Little set square, couple of cable ties, just a little driver bits. I think I got this from a tool fair a couple of years ago, before good old COVID struck. We could go to tool fairs and we could actually speak to people and interact with people, and also touch people if need be, and get within about 6 foot of people. I got this free off the stall, just a magnetic bit holder and a few bits. One day we might get back to those days and have tool fairs again and get tools at discount prices and see people close up. Pocket at the top, with nothing in, zip pocket. I just find sometimes if I wanted to keep something in there, the way I have my bag, I just wouldn't get access to it, and that's about your lot. So I say I'm gonna have to load all my gear back up, but you can store a hell of a lot in the Tech XL. You can get a Tech XXL and an LC, which is a little bit smaller. The XXL is obviously the size up, but just be careful. It's all well and good getting a big bag, but you just tend to chuck loads and loads of tools in, and you're going to have curvature of the spine trying to carry it. But I love this bag. I don't know, I'm tempted to sell it, but I might just keep it. It's a lot of money, and it has been a really good bag. But I'm going to upgrade to a backpack. just because I feel as though this is quite cumbersome and heavy when you're taking it to the site. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed the video. If anybody's thinking about getting a Veto, I would strongly recommend them. Bite the bullet. They are a lot of money, but you get what you pay for in life. You could quite easily go through 4 or 5 of the lesser brands. We've all been there. The zips are knackered. I mean, these are actually covered in dust. I really should clean it out and maybe put some beeswax on. But I reckon there's another 10 years in this, and I still think it'll be perfect. But once you get the bag, you can register to Veto with a 5-year guarantee, and going off what other people say, that they are pretty good by upholding the guarantee. So if any of the zips go, the handle or there's a rip, or the stitching comes away or anything like that, or the rivets, the press studs, anything like that, they'll replace your bag free of charge. But yeah, there's nothing else to tell you. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. I'll try and put a few more on, but life gets in its way. I've been that busy, I've not been able to put much video on lately. But catch you next time. See you later.